Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, episode 59, Talkin' Chop podcast. Coach Chop is wearing a do-rag headband, and his hair, I mean, it's straight flow there, Coach. How's
Yeah,
your hair? How you doing there?
man, I'm doing well. Yeah, I got the flow going, and it's getting to a point where I can't really contain it. It's taking on a life of itself. So, uh, got a couple headbands, trying it out, trying to look out. Yeah, man, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty young right now with this hairstyle.
Yeah, you got the Justin Turner look going. Shout out JT. Hope he's doing well. He got hit yesterday, hit by a pitch, but I do think he is all right. He's going to bounce back, no fractures. But you got that look going, and I dig it, brother.
Yeah, thanks,
Um,
buddy.
it's good to see you. Catch the listener up to speed on the high school team. I know you were in the thralls of a bit of a slump last week. How we doing? How's the team?
Yeah, we've had 3 games since we last talked, and we've won 2 of them. We beat a really, really good Saurita team, 7-4. They always are very well coached, and they play the game with a tremendous spirit. So that was a real challenge for us. Beat that club, then we beat another really good club in Walden Grove. These are two bigger schools. Our beginning of our season is all big schools. We're a small school, so we beat Saurita 7-4. We beat Walden Grove 6-1. Played 2 really great games. And then we played a 5A school, which is an even bigger and better school, senior laden team, a team that's undefeated, and they have a real good shot of potentially winning state in their division. And we jumped on them. They got up 2-0. We came back, responded with 7 unanswered,
Hmm.
including a double squeeze and a little league inside the park home run, and got up 7-2. And to their credit, in the bottom of the 5th, with that lead, they responded. They put together some great at bats. They have just an amazing lineup, and they ended up beating us. It ended up being 13-7. We had a 7-6 lead in the 6th inning. We got a guy on third with nobody out, and we didn't score him. And as you know, that momentum of not scoring led right into their bottom of the 6th. Pretty cool. We tried to steal home, which is epic.
Always
My
epic.
my 2-hole hitter struck out. My 3-hole hitter struck out, and my leadoff guy was on third. And he goes, "Coach, I think I can get him with a delay steal." Bro, and I said, "Go for it, dude! Like, let's go." I gotta love stuff like that. And no, but to their credit, they came back, and like I said, they're a really good team. But I'm really proud of our group too. We forced them to respond in a way that they did. So I'm proud of our guys, and I'm proud of their group too. But we're playing really good baseball. We really turned a corner. We've grown closer as a family, and I'm really, really, really pleased with where we're at as a club and as a family.
I want to unpack that turn in the corner thing with you. I dropped a video on my social medias yesterday about the grind and how grinding and battling is the win. Like that is the win. If you're thinking big picture, if you're thinking, hey, these experiences that these kids are going through and teaching them to battle and grind through it it's priceless. That experience, it breeds confidence, and down the road when it really matters and they're having real world problems, they're going to look back on this, they're going to use this. How are your kids, practically speaking, how are you teaching grind? How are you helping them and nurturing them to turn the corner?
Yeah, the term we like to use is process over result. So it's having a good sound process day in and day out, and not worrying about the result of that day as far as the game's concerned. You try to extract whatever growth you can. If it doesn't go your way, how was your pulse? How was your heart rate? Um, where was your pregame mentality? Were you able to stay calm in these tough moments? So really, if you look through that lens of winning and learning, like we talk about all the time, you're going to continue to get better. And then you won't get into a state of frustration or fear or lamenting things. It's like, hey, I didn't execute there. I can learn from it. I'm going to be better for it. And when I talk about our club turning the corner, last week we kind of had a heart to heart. We were 1-5, and we had a really bad practice.
Hmm.
And after the practice, I said, boys, we're carrying ourselves like we're 5-1. Um, we're not. We're 1-5. We have to have a sense of urgency. We have to have a better process. Do it for yourselves, do it for each other. And if we do that, we'll be where we want to be at the end of the year. But to come in with a 1-5 record and not have any sort of urgency or any sort of like accountability, you're not allowing yourself to grow. So they took that to heart. They had a players only meeting. I said, hey, we're going to leave. You guys don't go home until you guys either commit to each other or phone it in, and we can turn this into just sunshine and lollipops, and I'll bring cotton candy every day, and we can, go that route. But if you guys want to be great, like, you gotta come up with some standards. So that's what I mean by turning the corner. And like I said, it's been incredible from that moment on. Like, we keep this up, it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, I found that hard to teach, hard to get out of a teenager is that sense of urgency, and I'm guessing that kind of led to the bad practice. There's just a communal lack of urgency, not reading the room, just going through the motions. Did you have a fountain? Do we have a shout out to a specific fountain or two that has taken it upon themselves to pump this team up?
I mean, yeah, we've got two co-captains at the real Bubba Mustaine and Andres Castro. Those are our captains. And then we've got just a plethora of characters, Johnny Shines, Thor Jr., up and down the line there. Max Hendricks has been a tremendous addition to this club with his energy. And my son, Mike Chop, he's a freshman and he's blowing me away with what he's doing. He's hitting like 480, leading the team in average and on base percentage. It's just like he put it on himself in the preseason to get after it and get in the gym at 5:30 in the morning and take extra swings. And for any of our listeners out there, when you put in that level of work, that's an undefeated mentality. Like, you get results when you grind and you do things that no one else are willing to do. Results come your way. It's just the way it is. You have a different level of confidence, you carry yourself differently, and it feels like the game of baseball rewards those who are willing to grind. So I'm really proud of my son, man. He's doing it, dude. Now he's a little heavy on courting people, so he's got to tone down the court. We have kangaroo court, and he's always looking to court teammates. So it's like, Mike, you gotta tone down the court. He's really looking to prosecute his brothers, but it's overall top to bottom. It's just a great group. It really is.
Love it. Good. Well, it sounds like things are on the up and up, and the 1-5 start. That's a lot of learning, not much winning. So you can either lose or you can learn, and hopefully they learn from it, get a little tougher, get a little stronger. And I love that word grind.
Oh man.
I love that word. Um, Today, we've got a loyal Patreon joining us in a few minutes. Coach Josh, he's a follower, a listener of the pod, and he's also done a lot of coaching. And we're just going to chat about what's going on in his world and how he's become a better coach. And hey, I think from these Patreons that have called in and chatted with us for a little bit, I'm becoming a better coach because I'm getting a better sense of a bigger picture. What are umpires going through? What are these league presidents, battling with trying to get coaches on board? So many different things you're trying to figure out. But coaching youth baseball and coaching youth sports, as I've said before, I think it's one of the most important things out there to do. And most of the time, you're just volunteering your time for it, but it's that impact that you get. I got a nice note from a coach, one of my boots on the ground in Austin, Texas, and he has explained to all of his kids his love for the Chicago Cubs and his love for Ryan Sandberg. And he's got a leader. He's got a fountain on his team, a young boy that brought in a mint condition Ryan Sandberg card and said, "Hey, coach, I just want to let you know what you're doing, it's changing lives, and it's just you're a great man. So how cool is that, right? Just the best. Love that.
That's as cool as Ryan Sandberg.
I'd
It's
say
pretty
so.
cool.
I'd say so. A big night tonight. It's the beginning of, oh yeah, Baseball Classic, the World Baseball Classic, the WBC. I'm fired up about this, and the pool play is happening in 4 locations. You got Taiwan, you got Tokyo, you got Phoenix, and you got Miami. And I just wanted to throw some shout outs. A couple friends of the pod are in the World Baseball Classic. Daniel Bard is pitching for Team USA. Go get him. Some guy named Mookie Betts. He was on the pod. Go listen to that great interview. Mike Trout, who has not been on the pod yet, but I think he will. I think he will soon. Ian Kinsler, friend of the pod. He is the manager of Team Israel. Freddie
cool.
Freeman's playing for Canada. I'm really excited about this Dominican Republic, this DR team. I mean, the pitching staff alone, Sandy, Alcantara, Javier, Cueto, Soto, J-Rod, Jeremy Pena, Machado, Devers, like, wow. And I mean, they lost Vladdy Jr. He got hurt, but good luck if you're facing them. And in their pool in Miami, you got Puerto Rico. They got Javi. They got Lindor. Yachty is their manager. You got Venezuela. Kinsler's going to have his hands full over there with Israel and Nicaragua. Team USA is playing in Phoenix. They got Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and Great Britain. Shohei, man. Shohei and Yu Darvish playing for Team Japan. Pretty excited to see what they can do over there. And then over in Taiwan, you got the Netherlands, you got Cuba. Mike Piazza, manager for Team Italy. Kind of excited about that. So
that's pretty cool.
Pretty dialed in. So that's the World Baseball Classic. But without further ado, our loyal Patreon. Our guest today on episode 59, it's Coach Josh. How about snaps? Snaps for Coach. Coach Josh, where do we find you today? Where are you?
I took the day off from school, so I'm at the house today.
I love it. What town are you in these days?
I'm in Mansfield, Texas, so just outside Arlington.
I love it. I love it. And for the listener, if you're not watching on YouTube, he's got one of the coolest shirts I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
It straight up says "rub dirt on it." Just rub a little bit of dirt on it, and that speaks to our theme of the day, which is grinder. Coach Josh in Texas, when did you hear about this podcast, brother?
Oh man, I was just happened across it basically. I do a lot of side business and was just looking for a new podcast over baseball, and this one popped up, and so I got in about 10 or 11 episodes in, and
I love it.
Just keep rolling with it every week.
Love it.
I love that. I love it, Coach. We're just going to call you Coach. Rub some dirt on it. That's your nickname for sure. You sent me an email with kind of how you've planted your boots in the ground there near Arlington, but give the listener a sense of what your coaching background is. What have you been up to?
Oh well, I mean, like a lot of guys, I played in high school, youth, high school, went on to D3 school here in Texas, and I made it about a semester and decided that I was going to go on and just keep working on school stuff. And so then got into umpiring high school stuff, kind of stay around it after I got out of college. And then had my own kids, and daughter got involved in soccer and softball and everything. So we spent a lot of time with the YMCA. And then my son coached him up through T-ball and things like that. And we got involved with a little bit of travel ball the last couple years, and bouncing back and forth between travel ball and the rec league, kind of for a lot of the things you guys discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good fit for us to have a discussion with him and the organizations around here. And after listening to y'all, I took a lot of time into really paying attention to what the coaches for those travel ball teams were like, what was going to be a good fit, and became very cognizant of that just really after listening to you guys. So appreciate that.
Oh,
Thanks, Coach.
absolutely. And Chopper, this is your area with travel ball, so I'll send it your way.
Yeah, it's really important. I think sometimes parents get caught into the trap of like, oh, that team's winning a lot, right? But like, who are you putting your kid around? Like, what kind of language do they speak? What tone? What are their goals? What are their motives? Are they just trying to collect talent and win games at a young age? Or are they really trying to pour into the spirit of your child? Like, don't just look at wins and losses. In fact, if I were me, like that's the last thing you should look at. Like, who is around your kid? Who are you putting in your child's circle of influence? So, Coach, I love that you said that, Coach Sharp. That's critically important. And the more of us as parents that we can be mindful of, we say it all the time, Coach Ballgame, like we're trying to win these kids' hearts. And we want them to be good quality humans and have empathy and love for others and be great. We're not saying you can't be great, but be great at everything, including your character.
Right. Yeah. And that was something that was a hard lesson for us, is we were on a highly competitive team, as a 9, 10 year old, winning a lot of games, but it just became a lot of stress for a 9 and 10 year old kid. And so built up a lot of anxiety and things. So we were like, man, we got to kind of search out a different spot where it's not going to be so intense. So
Yeah. Yeah, no
I
doubt. My son, go ahead, Coach.
No. I was just going to say that the fact that you sniffed that out speaks to the lens that you're looking through, and that's the lens we try and look through is big picture. What kind of a big brother or a father or a server of his community is your son going to be in 10 years? That's the lens you're looking through, and then what kind of passion are they going to have when they're 17, 18, 19 years old for the game? So you're saving his baseball life by doing that, Jobber.
No, yeah, I agree. I was just going to say Boaz had a big football tournament this last weekend, and like I said, we've talked about he's a quarterback and he's really good. But the cool thing about him is when he throws an interception, he doesn't. He's just like, okay, like he's totally fine, and that's what I'm most proud as a father. He told me they won this last tournament last weekend, which is great. Not saying winning's bad, it's not. But he goes, hey, Dad, he goes, when I get really nervous, I pee myself a little bit. And I'm like, hey, Bo, that's okay, dude. Like that's, like you don't look nervous, but it's just really funny that he just had to share that his nervous move is he's very hydrated. We'll say that's good.
Well, I like that he was open enough to tell you that. I mean that speaks to your fatherhood, man.
We're best buds.
Yeah, you're setting up this community. Hey, let's have an honest relationship here.
Yeah.
Just tell me anything. I mean, I think that's huge, and that's something that kids at 11, 12 years old in travel ball, maybe they're not as honest as they'd like to be with their dad. Maybe they're afraid. Coach Josh, any horror stories, any things that kind of have kind of gotten loud to you and made you say, I need to share this podcast with that group of people?
Yeah, I mean, just having been on the walk that we've been on the last few years, then that was a big deal. I mean, some of the episodes that you guys have done that was the most impactful and made me want to share it were the ones, where you talked about dealing with parents, you talked about loud coaching and the stern but loving tones, things like that. And I'm a big guy. I teach third grade, and so it's kind of fearful for these like 8-year-olds to come around me, especially because I'm the first guy they've had in school. And so I kind of get this rap of being that type of guy, but I'm really a very quiet person. I'm a very soft person. And so when it comes to coaching, I'm not one of those loud guys, things like that. And so those 3 episodes really affected me. And I sent it to some other guys that I coach with or coach other teams and leagues, and was like, man, you got to listen to this, because they're kind of the same way. My wife is also an educator, so we just kind of sit back in the stands. We're those people that kind of laugh at, when people are getting all riled up over an 8-year-old, 9-year-old's baseball failure or success.
Yeah.
At that,
Yeah.
we kind of laugh about that, and they're just like, I mean, we want them to have fun, but a lot of it's just been sharing those things, and then looking at the lens of where our current youth league is here in Mansfield, where we are. We've here in North Texas, it's a pretty dominant game. It's a high price to pay for a lot of people, tons of travel teams. And so I've kind of shared and expressed with our local league, like, some things have to change with even the way that the local leagues are, because it's sad when you get an email like, we had to kick a parent out of a rec league game for a 9-year-old or 10-year-old or things like that. I mean, we got to just, like y'all guys preach, we just got to try to change that culture around wherever we are. And
Well,
so
and I think that's what it's going to take. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to take is a man of your size, a big man. You think of Benny the Jet Rodriguez in The Sandlot, like the best player in the town. He's going to be the bully. He's going to be the one that drinks the Kool-Aid and weans the Smalls out. No, he embraced Smalls. He brought him in. So when a parent that's yelling in a 9-year-old game sees a big man like Coach rub some dirt on it, being kind and approaching failure in a loving, nurturing way, and seeing big picture, not getting all riled up, I think that's what it's going to take. I think it's going to take that visual of them seeing that over and over and over again. And then that's how we do it. Like Chopper, another big dude that, could totally be central casting for yelling coach of the year, but he's not. He's the guy that passes out a mint or a Smartie or something, when they get to third base and tries to keep the situation calm. So I there was no question there. I just wanted to throw that your way. You're doing it. You're changing the culture just by you being you.
We're trying, and that's one of the things, like, I'm considering, like, man, my kids are getting into the upper years of the teenage and or the youth leagues, and so I'm like, man, I want to go back and start with one of those 5-year-old teams and make it as much fun as it can be, and use those things that I've heard you guys talk about. And just one of the guys I coached with this year, my favorite thing about him was, before every game, he was like, go out there, have fun, make mistakes, and then most of all, I love you. And he yelled that across the field, in front of everybody. I mean, there are people who are listening, and it's people that want it to be that way. It's just got to keep the movement going. So
praise should be heard. Praise should be heard, and constructive criticism should be one-on-one. And it should always be, even in that, it has to be intentional, as far as make sure you tell little Jimmy you like his shoes first, so that he doesn't feel attacked. And then, hey, can you try to do X, Y, or Z, whatever the coaching component is, and then finish it with, hey, I love you, dude. You're the best. But yeah, the praise has got to be loud, and the criticism's got to be quiet and still positive,
And that phrase right there is something I've even taken back to my own classroom at the elementary school. I'm like, man, I heard this guy say this on this podcast. It's got to be loud. And then I do it, I criticism one-on-one. And so that's something I've even just taken back and applied to all the other 8 and 9-year-olds in my life that I'm with every single day. And
Good
so
job, Coach. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's
great
awesome.
job. Well, and what that does is, I think it transcends just one certain type or one personality, and really reaches all the different types. Last night, we had our final Sandlots, that advanced Sandlot, a lot of 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And the week prior, I was blown away. Like, we played a scrimmage game and there were double plays, almost triple plays. Like, it was really, really sharp. And these kids don't play travel ball. A lot of them don't even play Little League. They're in blue jeans. But when you paint this picture of, I love you unconditionally, no matter your failures, fall flat on your face. That's how you're going to learn. And when all the different personalities pick that up, even the kids that are really hard on themselves, and we have had a few of those last night, man, you've got 8 other people that are giving that kid a fist bump because they've opened their eyes and their ears and they're listening to all the other personalities and they know that kid's tough on themselves. So at no point have we even talked about hitting technique or backspin on a ball. It's so much more than that. So Coach Josh, we'll close with this. Do you have any questions for us? Anything that comes up in your practices or when you're traveling with your kiddos, what do you got for us?
I've just taken a lot of the things that you guys have talked about and tried to just share them with my kid and his friends. And so, there's nothing that jumps out at me as far as the question goes, but all those ideas you guys throw out each and every week. I got my journal that I'm putting stuff down in and bringing it back. And so I just appreciate all you guys, everything you guys do. So
honored. Awesome, man. That's so good. Well, I know I'll be in Dallas at the end of November. So that'll be my Texas swing is the week after Thanksgiving. So I gotta see you there and in the Dallas Sandlot and meet you, shake your hand. But keep doing it. You're doing a great job, and I really thank you for supporting the pod and keeping Tommy G's lights on, man. Appreciate you, man.
trying to do so.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Hey, appreciate what you're doing on the field and in the classroom. Thank you for working with those babies and keep doing it, man. You're impacting lives. Great job.
Right. Thank you. You
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.
Thank y'all.
Attaboy.
Coach, rub some dirt on it. Let's go.
Coach Josh, aka Rub Some Dirt on it. And
I love it.
I love that he is a big, burly man, and he's a 3rd grade teacher. Like kids need that. They need that male figure that can be loving. They need to break the stereotype or what's in their brain. And when he's on the ball field and he's able to approach it the way we have learned to approach coaching, those other coaches see that. Those parents, they definitely soak that up and they see that, and it puts a rock in their shoe, and they think, well, that's a different way of doing it, and that's what it takes. Build a big fat army of sound coaches, huh?
Yeah, and I'm proud of the fact that he's in tune with his son, right? So he knew, like, he wasn't this. So many parents live through their kids. I'm like, oh, suck it up. You're on a good team and you're winning games and this, that. No, he could see that his son was stressed and he could see that it was impacting him negatively. And if it's not fun, don't do it. If it's making your life worse or your quality of life not as good as you want it, like, you got to make a change. It doesn't mean you have to stop playing the sport, but maybe it's not the right culture or the right place for you at that time in your life. Now, in a couple of years, maybe his son will be like, hey, Dad, you know what? I think I can take those higher leverage pressure moments, but good on him, dude. Because most parents, they're not leaving that club that's winning, no matter what their kid's up to.
It transcends baseball, transcends sports. I'm at a talent show watching my niece sing a Beatles song, and there's a lot of 12, 13-year-olds that are for the first time on stage, and the lights are on them and the microphone's there, and they're playing the saxophone or playing the piano or singing, noticeably terrified, all of them. And when a parent is just hanging on every note and just wishing, oh man, I hope don't hit that wrong note, or don't make that mechanical mistake. Oh, it's just so sad, because they've got it backwards. Before you look at any type of mechanical skill, whatever it may be, take a step back and look at the big picture. When something really bad happens when they're in their mid-20s, they're going to have this experience of being terrified, petrified, people out there, and they were able to battle and grind through this song and get through it without passing out. That's a huge deal. That is priceless. That's going to help them down the road. It's going to help them in that tough SAT test, or that trying to get into the college, or trying to get a job, getting fired from a job. The experience is where it's at. So Coach Josh is able to look at that. He's able to look at that big picture first. Like, how is this 1-5 start? How is this 0 for 4 with 4 strikeout day? How is this going to help down the road? Sure, I know exactly what they're doing wrong, and we'll chat about that maybe tomorrow. We'll chat about what the bat path is doing, or what the balance is doing, or what his front foot's doing. But right now, just being able to allow your kid to not be perfect, to not have a perfect talent show or a perfect game, and allow them to fail and figure out their own way of bouncing back and responding. You used that word early, the response. You're doing it with your kids, 1-5 start. How can they respond? And if it looks like they're all going backwards on this train going in reverse, hey, let's have a heart to heart and let's check where we're at. But I think that's huge, man. And parents that are hanging on to every pitch, they got it backwards.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of our athletes yesterday morning, and the discussion was based on, like, we're talking about facing the velo machine. So high velo, we've got these really good driveline baseballs that aren't hard balls, but you can still use them in the machine. So if you don't square it up, it's not going to break your hand. You've probably seen it on Instagram. They work really, really well. So I bought a dozen of them. They worked so well. I bought 5 more dozen of them. And I had an athlete who was struggling off the velo machine yesterday afternoon, and he stayed calm. He wasn't showing any emotion, but what I told him was like, hey, this is the natural progression. And you just kind of learn, like, kind of what effort you have to give to square that ball up. I mean, it's 90 plus miles an hour, 90 to 95. It's firm because we're not even 60 feet away going as fast as the machine will throw it. And I have them inch closer after each swing. So if you make contact, you move closer, closer, closer till you get right up by the machine. Remember the iron mics? This is what I used to do in college off an iron mic. I would just inch closer to it. And he was swinging too hard, right? So human nature is, the guy's throwing an arm on a swinger. I said, no, you just want to be short and quick. You need less effort, actually. You just want to touch it. So he struggled with it yesterday. No frustration, perfectly calm. And like I told him, if you don't quit, you can't be stopped. Well, today he absolutely dominated. Dominated the machine. He's like, Coach, I was way better than this. I go, yeah, and it's going to be better next week and a week after that. Like, you just keep going and you just keep processing information. Like, okay, how's my effort level? Okay, that's too much. I'm not squaring it up. Can I do less? Can I be shorter? Can I have a different thought? And you just keep grinding through it. And that's how you get better. You try to do things you can't do yet, and then you figure out how to do them. So the other thing, and I'll kick it back to you. I had one of my athletes who we were doing top hand, bottom hand a few days ago. And obviously most hitters don't like their bottom hand. Most of them, not all, and there's exceptions, but that's their non-dominant hand traditionally, unless they're a bat right, throw left guy. So this was a bat right, throw right guy. So left hand he doesn't like. Well, I go, hey, let's go into top hand, bottom hand. Does his top hand, goes right into 2 hand. I go, hey, dude, bottom hand. He goes, yeah, I don't like doing bottom hand. I go, non-negotiable, my guy. Like, I know you don't like it. No one likes working on their weaknesses, but you grind through it so that your weakness becomes a strength, or at least a neutral, and then you're better for it.
Yep.
It's just grinding, dude.
It is grinding. And I think the great coaches quietly find out why. And why is the bat going under the ball, or why are we late, or why are we throwing the ball high every pitch? You quietly find out why. But that comes way after you've built that trust, and you've let the child know, you've let the teenager know there's unconditional love here. Nothing you can do, and there's no mistake you can make that's going to make me angry. All of these failures, they're great. They're a great thing. This is how you're learning. But once that trust is built, then their ears are open and you can quietly find out the why. I think we do that backwards a lot too. We loudly yell the what, but let's quietly find out why. A great example is your guy or your young lady. They strike out 4 times and they are extremely late on all of it. And during the game, you're yelling, "You're late. Be early, quicker, earlier." It's not going to work. Hopefully the trust has been built where they can go over 4 with 4 strikeouts and they can come to you and say, "Oh, I feel terrible." And you can give them a hug and say, "I've been there too. Let's chat about it tomorrow," quietly. And then the next day, "Why are you late? Let's chat about it." "I don't know. I'm a really good coach, but I don't know yet. What do you think? Why are you late?" And then you can go step by step, like you're doing with that pitching machine, just step by step, like it's a ladder. You're going up the stairwell, and then you figure it out. "Oh, I'm noticing this front foot. It's getting down a little bit late." Okay. "Oh, I'm noticing that you're not loading into your back leg prior to the pitch." Okay. Right. So you're quietly figuring out the why. And then the praise can be really loud once they get through that hump. So that's really all I have for today's episode. I wanted to highlight the WBC, wanted to highlight Coach Josh in Arlington, Texas, and wanted to highlight your high school team. Proud of them, how they responded. So anything on your end to close up shop?
No, we finished up camp too. So we had 4 sessions of camp, partnered with US Baseball Academy. So we had our last session a few days ago and went really well. So really proud of those kids. Had about 120 kids come through and they did a great job. They really improved through the 4 weeks. So that was really fun to see their progression and challenging them to do a random act of kindness every week and that fun stuff too, of them getting to hear a different message, right? Of like, hey, win, lose, or draw, are you kind? Are you being a good human? And as they were all leaving, it was like, hey, don't forget to have a great attitude and be kind and uplift your teammates. And you promise me you're going to keep doing random acts of kindness and all that good stuff, and just trying to just throw that kindness out into the community, and they really improved too. Some of those kids had never played baseball. So it was really fun to see one of the kids, Eric the Red, his nickname was Eric the Red. First name Eric, last name George Alice. The sweetest kid I think I've ever met. And he's never played baseball. And so halfway through the first day, on the first day of camp, he came up to me and he goes, "Coach," he goes, "I was really nervous to come out here, but like, I'm having so much fun and just thank you for making this so fun." And I'm like, "Eric the Red, you're my guy. Like, I'm so happy that I got to meet you, and just breathing life into him and encouraging him." And by the end of it, he's just like, his attitude and his effort are just off the charts, and so I told him that with his mom. I said, "Eric, I'm so lucky to have met you. And I just want you to keep you continue with your attitude and this effort that you put forth in everything that you do. And you're going to have so much success. It's such a joy to coach you." Really cool. You know how it is when you get around a bunch of babies that you've never met before, and they're just, every one of them brings something different. And there were some that I had challenges with, but you know what? I gave him a talk of like, "Hey dude, like, come on, like, we can be better than this right now. We can pay attention a little bit more. We can give a little bit more effort." And then they did it. They responded. So really a blessing. Very thankful for US Baseball Academy to partner with us. Raised a lot of money for our baseball program. So very thankful for that. And we impacted some lives. It was great.
Attaboy. And you're looking through the right lens with that age group. You want to leave a deep-rooted legacy. How do you make people feel?
Yep.
How do you make others feel? They walk away, they're going to remember that. Like, there's a reason that I tell the Roberto Clemente story, and it's not the 3,000 hits or the 12 Gold Gloves. It's what he did to make other people feel joy and to feel seen. Same with Jim Abbott, the choices he made, and he has caused other people to want to just fight and grind. We're going to have a guest on in the coming weeks, had his leg amputated after a terrible boating accident, and he is determined to make the ECU baseball team. He's getting a prosthetic today. He was going to be on the show today, but he had to get a new leg. So what a story. And his name is Parker. And I tell you what, I can't wait to have him on because he must have had a coach when he was 8 or 9 that looked through the lens of how are you impacting people and how are you grinding, and that has helped him through this very trying time. So you want to leave a legacy, then be kind and treat people with respect and pay attention and make those great choices and spread joy. You're not going to leave a legacy by hitting a billion home runs, right? Not a deep one, not as deep and long lasting as the way you impact. So,
love it.
Bang, man, bang, bang, bang. My Sandlot tour for 2023, 65 cities. It drops Sunday. We've got a little 5-day countdown to all the dates. I've been working tirelessly for the last 3 months. I can't wait to give a shout out to each and every boots on the ground. And I'll do that in my post on Sunday with the flyer of all the different cities and the dates. But I mean, there's 65 people that slid into my DMs and we got on the phone and we started talking about how to set up this Sandlot at their league. And man, fired up to release
So cool.
it to the world. And I messaged, I sent the flyer to Buppa's family. And if you don't know who Buppa is, just look at my YouTube. It's a $20,000 story of a man who passed away from cancer, but before he died, he wanted to send some money my way so I could coach kids, and he really got this whole ball rolling. And his family was so supportive to get the Sandlot tour up and running, and now we're all over North America. So fires me up, buddy. Impact, right, Buppa? It
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
the home runs. It was that act of kindness, that random act of kindness to want to do something for a total stranger. So enjoy the WBC, and next week for episode 60, it's going to be a fun one. The Aussie, Peter Moylan, pitched for the Braves. Now he's a broadcaster for the Braves. Just the most beautiful accent in the world. And I mean, get ready to laugh. It's going to be ridiculous. Good.
Can't wait.
Attaboy. Have a good week there.
Have a great week. Got Gibby here.
Attaboy, Gibby.
Gibby chilling in my lap the whole episode. Let's go. Good job.
So sweet.
Bang.